UFC Fight Night in Mexico. We got Moreno, we got Erceg as the main event. Welcome, everybody. Andy and Jim are going to break everything down for you. We have no time to waste. So hit the like button. I'm serious. Hit the like button right now.
Even
Do
if you
it.
hate
Thank
us.
you. Yeah, do it. All right. Leave a comment. Tell us in the comment section what you like for this card and subscribe to the channel. Recap from last week. It was a complete, utter disaster. We got reverse swept. We were 0-3 on our plays. Yeah, those cards absolutely suck. They're brutal. We feel terrible. And yet we move on because there's one or two a year, and we got one out of the way early. So, what's the feeling when we're watching last week's card and nothing is going the way that we had anticipated?
I really wish I had the onions to say, well, you know what? Everything I thought was going to be wrong and just go the other way live. But you never know with these cards, man. And the moral of the story is it could have been a crushing week. We ended up down 8 units. It's not that bad when you really think about it.
It's our worst
I
event of the
guarantee
year.
you there's a lot of people that lost more than 8 units. And you're going to have those cards. The judging is going to bite you. The retirements you didn't predict are going to bite you. The retirements you did pick that didn't happen are going to bite you. I'm glad we got it out of the
Tybura
way.
by decision, the Holland by decision. Like it wasn't
was
even just the fighters; it was the way
It's
the
a murderer's row, man. It was a
Yeah.
murderer's row, and you kind of saw it coming. On a positive note, we did hit a live. One thing we did do right was hit a live bet, so live bets continue to roll. And I think it was wise for us to kind of sit on our hands for 8 fights and 2-0, and just chalk it up to we'll have a better week next week. I'm putting it behind me. I'm totally forgetting about last week, and you have to do that.
I don't want to sound preachy here, but I will tell you from personal experience. And Jim, as soon as I say this, you're going to start nodding and nodding and nodding. So I have not been a winning bettor my entire life. I've only been a winning bettor for the last few years, really, till I, hooked up with Corbin and Jim and now Jan and Dan and of course Nathan. You all know. 5-6 years ago, I would have lost half my bankroll.
Yep.
I would have chased and chased and chased, and I would have made it so much more worse. And that is the danger of live lines. We've seen the benefit of live lines. We have also seen the danger of live lines. When a fight card is not going your way and you're losing everything, the temptation to chase all those losses is so good. And yeah, we lost 8 units. That is nothing. That is nothing. 6 years ago, Jim, I would have put a big hurting on my bankroll. And I love you guys that were in the live show, but I know there are people that did chase. We were getting, what do you got for this next fight? What do you got for this next fight? I'm down. What do you have for this next fight? Those are not the right questions to ask. The right questions are, how quickly can I log out of my sports book and just this is a loss. We have people. Formula One plays. It's like, after what you just saw, no way.
And they would have lost.
They would have absolutely lost. It was when you're on a bad streak, walking away. It's the hardest thing to do, and yet it's the smartest thing to do. So I'm not really giving too much thoughts about last week. You could just, from the very beginning, you were like, this night is gonna go one of those ways. So we move on. That's the moral of the story. As we move on. All right, let's get into the fights here. We got a 3-month special coming up for all you guys looking for something a little bit more long term. Austin Hubbard and MarQuel Mederos. If UFC wanted to get the crowd hopping with the first fight of the night, I kind of think they picked the wrong guys here. Jim, what's your take on Austin Hubbard and MarQuel Mederos?
I'm really happy that the UFC scheduled this fight right now, because we're coming off a 2-fight example last week that season of The Ultimate Fighter that Austin Hubbard was on was the worst season of The Ultimate Fighter ever. From both of those guys last week look old and washed, like the sport has passed us by. We got to watch Kurt Hullaba not be a turtle on his back. We got to watch Cody Gibson look as washed up and old as possible. And now we get the gift of Austin Hubbard having a fight right after them. I like Austin Hubbard as a fighter. He was actually my pick to win The Ultimate Fighter when he was on there. And we said he could go far. Now, he will always fight for your money, but look, guys, again, age and miles in this sport wear on you. I don't know. Mederos isn't a title challenger. I'm not saying he's the best fighter in the world. But what I do know is that he's 9-1 and young, and his career trajectory is up, and Austin Hubbard's is on the way down. Take into account that this is in Mexico City. I think that the third round pressure of Hubbard is going to be a little less than usual if it makes the third round. Hubbard's usually a guy that can kind of come on strong, but recently he hasn't looked great in the third round either. So now we're at elevation in Mexico City. So you've pretty much taken away the strength of Hubbard, which is his durability. Again, he's tough, right? And that he can sneak out of round 3. I got to go against Hubbard in this spot. So give me Mederos. I don't know how he wins, but I'm not betting on these Ultimate Fighter guys from the veterans versus rookies season.
Give me the over. I don't care who wins. This has got over, to me, written all over it. Like you said, at altitude. I just don't think these guys are very exciting. Mederos, good finish on Contender Series, good finishes on the regional scene, and then he gets the UFC. Keep talking about this. The step up from the regional scene and Contender Series into the UFC, even against a bad UFC fighter, is just different. So what happens? Mederos goes the distance against Quinones. It was a snooze fest. There was clinching against the fence. There was not a lot of damage. And then you go to Austin Hubbard. He went the distance against Hernandez in a split decision. He went the distance against Figlock. He gets choked out by Hollabaugh. I think both these guys are not that exciting. I don't know what's the finish. I don't Hubbard's not very good, but I don't see Mederos finishing him. Not of what I saw with Quinones.
He'd have to get subbed. I don't think he gets knocked out.
Hubbard's not finishing guys this time. So I just think this fight goes the distance. Don't really care who wins. I'm not that interested in betting a side in this one. Jamall, Emmers, and Gabariel. Miranda, Jim, how do you see this fight going down?
This is a really, really simple fight to bet. I think it's a really simple fight. I'll start off with, I do not think that this fight goes the distance. I don't believe that Gabariel Miranda has 3 rounds of stand-up cardio and durability to deal with Jamall Emmers. Okay?
How could you look at this man's picture and tell me that you don't think this man can go 3 rounds there?
Yeah, when a guy looks like Vega from Street Fighter, you're not really going to be betting on him in 2025. Look, Chairez looked like garbage last week.
Right.
That put things into perspective. His win is Shane Young. Shane Young. Hey, love you, Shane Young. Wish you could get another fight. Made a lot of money off of Shane Young.
Yes, we did.
I don't think he's getting back there. This is one of those things where everybody's terrified to bet on Emmers, and you should be. You should be, because he can make a mistake. But this is a very binary fight. I think this is Jamall Emmers by finish, and it's Gabe Miranda sub round 1 or sub. So we don't have these lines out yet, but this is probably going to be a spot where you can get plus money on both sides and hold your nose. Now, if the fight goes the distance, you're in trouble. But I'm having a hard time seeing how Gabe Miranda is going to go 3 rounds if he doesn't have the grappling going. Now, if he gets the grappling going, Jamall Emmers has already made it known that he will gladly put his foot in a bucket and get submitted. That's what he does, okay? But I think this is Emmers in this spot. I'm predicting late round 1, round 2 knockout for Emmers. I don't think Miranda has anything for him on the feet. I don't think he's supposed to be here. I don't believe he's UFC level. Jamall Emmers at least has been in there with UFC level fighters and doing the thing, okay? He looked great his fight before, and then he just ran into Nate Landwehr. Would you say he was doing bad? The Nate Landwehr fight was so fast. Like, he was doing good. And then he just got hit.
It's a Nate Landwehr fight. It's a train wreck. It's just there's no a Nate Landwehr fight. It's very hard for the fight to develop and breathe. Like when the fight starts, you're in a car crash.
Yeah.
It's just a very, very different feel.
He very well could be 3-1 in his last 5 with the Jack Jenkins.
He probably should be. Jack Jenkins was surprised. He won. So it's always great when the judges read it and they're like, "We nailed it." And it's like, then why is the guy that won shocked? I don't think you nailed it. I'm with you that this is a fight that if you're doing a violence parlay, I think is in it. There's another obvious one later on I agree. I think it's Emmers. I think you can take Emmers by finish. I think Gabe Miranda is terrible. And you're right, man. Dude, when you're coming off of getting knocked out by Morgan Charrier, and I was high on Morgan Charrier, but after last week, I was like, no, I'm out.
We're done.
This just
We're done
looks,
with Charrier.
Yeah, it looks terrible. Unders, Jamall Emmers, it's chalky, but I don't need to overthink it. Rafa Garcia, and I'm done predicting retirements because it's like I thought OSP was going to retire, and then he won. And then you're like, this person's going to retire, and then they're like, oh, Molly McCann's retiring. Oh, I didn't see that coming. It's got to be coming for Vince, isn't it? Like, look, this guy, he lost to Mark Madsen in 2022. He lost to Bohmfeem in 3 rounds, where Bohmfeem was clearly just trying to test out his cardio for 3 rounds. I'm not a big Rafa Garcia guy, but he's younger. He got worked over by Grant Dawson. With all due respect, Grant Dawson's levels above this. Rafa beats Clay, beats Machete. I think it's Rafa Garcia. I think you're going totals on this one, but for me, it's Rafa. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a retirement in this one. I don't think Vince has much left. What do you think?
You know me too well. I don't care who wins. Fight goes the distance.
Agreed.
Over 2.5.
You're right.
Both of these guys in their wins, they're good at not getting finished. Getting finished by Grant Dawson in that fight, that's not people are talking about like Grant Dawson can't finish. It's not like Grant went out and knocked him out on the feet. He did what Grant Dawson does, which is backpack you and beat your brains in with a bunch of little pitter-patter shots till you give up your neck. Rafa happened to give up his neck. On top of that, in that fight, Dawson stated beforehand that I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and the finishes will come. And that was a moment from Grant Dawson where there was nothing going back the other way and he was safe to go for the finish. These two guys are going to exchange on the feet. Their striking is going to look slow. It's going to look labored. There's not going to be a lot of combinations. You're not going to see them mixing up the targets. They're going to grapple. They're going to get tired. And this fight is going to go over. Of course, you're not going to bet on the 42-year-old. That would be crazy. How did that work out for Jan bettors this weekend? Do not bet on the 42-year-old. So the heck with betting on either of these guys. Remember, we're not trying to bet on good fighters. We're trying to bet against bad fighters. And in matchups where you have 2 bad fighters, just stay away. There's too much cannon fodder going both ways that can put somebody out, or somebody can slip on a banana peel, lose a 3rd round, get taken down and head down. Kurt Hulba, just saying. So yeah, give me the over in this. I don't care who wins.
With you, Julia Polastri against Lupi Godinez. What do you think about this fight?
Well, let's pull up Julia Polastri's record.
We're going with Polastri first.
We're going with Polastri.
Solid profile pick. I enjoy
Very
it.
nice.
I love that there's a beach involved. Or is that just a wall? It might be a wall.
Is it a public pool? Is she outside of the restrooms?
No, it has to be a wall.
It is, right?
I don't know. It looks like a beach with the, but maybe it's a wall. Leave a comment. Is this a beach or a wall?
I'm going wall. I'm
going wall. I'm going beach. I wish I was on one right now. All right, Polastri.
Corey McKenna.
Split decision.
Are we done? Can we all be done trying to pick when Corey McKenna is going to become a good fighter?
I don't think
because she's super limited physically in every which way. That was very evident in Corey's last fights. It's just like you're just outmatched. Okay, you're outmatched. Getting submitted by
alligator arms.
Yeah, she's got T-Rex arms.
She's got the T-Rex arms.
She's got what, a 62-inch reach, I believe.
That might be with both arms put together.
That's true.
Like,
it could be
combined.
The stature, the physical build. She's not an athlete, so that's just it's the bad win. You can't get a split against Corey McKenna and be considered to be at the top of this division. She loses to Knudsen, who we love. Okay, it's a Knudsen performance. Other than that, I go down the record of the fighters that she's fought, and these girls have done nothing. Absolutely nothing since they fought. You got a couple
She
decent
hasn't
ones
fought.
in there.
Her
Hasn't
contender
fought.
series fought her hasn't fought.
How do you get to contender series, lose, never have a fight?
Like no regional scene wants you.
Nothing.
Give me
Zero.
a break. Like even if you lose, they're calling.
Somebody's
Because they
calling.
want to be able to say contender series vet is on
Yeah.
the card.
Combate's calling.
Come to
Jungle
Abe
Fight's
Lincoln
calling.
High School. Tickets are $1.50 to get free popcorn.
Mhm.
So
I mean, go down to the next one. You can just go down the list, right? 6-0,
Yeah.
8-2. All right, she's been active.
fighting at
Who's she fighting?
well, she got the ground and pound win against a 5-10 fighter. She lost to an 0-2 fighter.
That's what I mean. It's you go down this woman's record, and I can't put much stock in any of her wins.
Yeah.
So I think we have an extremely overrated young fighter going up against a girl who has burned a lot of people. But look
Really?
who Lupi is fighting.
Are-
Here's
are-
why. Here's why. People always want to pick when Lupi's going to wrestle. They always want. The Mackenzie Dern fight pissed a lot of people off. The Angela Hill fight pissed a lot of people off, and people can't get that out of their head. Take those fights away. Look what we got. Cynthia Calvillo did the deed. Emily Ducati did the deed. Lise Reed finishes her on the ground the way you should. Tabitha Ricci, tough fight, very even fight.
It's a good win.
Gets the
That's a
nod.
real good
Great
win.
win. Great win. Loses to Verna, totally expected. Doesn't get submitted by Verna. We saw what Verna just did to Lemos. Just saying. I think this is Lupi all day. This is a huge difference in strength of competition. If there's ever, I'm done predicting when Lupi's going to wrestle. I don't care. I think she's better on the feet anyway than Polastri. I think she's going to be moving forward in the third. And we just saw last week, forward pressure can mean something, cannot mean something. It depends on the judge that you have. But I think that Lupi's optics are going to be really good in this fight. And I just don't see Polastri being able to keep up the same pace that Lupi's going to bring to this fight at elevation in Mexico City with everybody behind Lupi Godinez. This is obviously a spot where the UFC wants Lupi to win. I'm on Lupi. Give me Lupi by decision.
Yeah, Lupi's. Listen, if you just take Lupi's fight to go the distance, you're a rich individual. Doesn't matter what you're laying. Who cares? It's minus 600. Put it with something, and you got a guaranteed winner. I mean, and honestly, I wouldn't have taken the over against Lise Reed. Lise Reed has 0 takedown. She gets tired. So, yeah, Lupi drives me nuts because I just keep looking at her and I'll be like, your family has a like elite level background in wrestling. The entire family.
There's literally people that think that she is the best wrestler in this division.
And she's a striker now, which I cannot wrap my head around. But here's the thing. She does have the wrestling in the back pocket. I just think she can take just about anybody down if she puts her mind to it. But she doesn't try it. Maybe it's too taxing. Maybe she wants to be a striker. Okay, let's say she doesn't wrestle at all. Polastri beat McKenna, a lot of it because of the clinch. Polastri gets Lupi in the clinch. Lupi is getting out of it. Like, that's where the wrestling chops are going to show up. And then striking, Polastri's striking is pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. So even if Lupi is only a striker this time, I think she's going to win. And here's the thing where I can finally be confident in what we're going to get from Lupi is I'm not even going with the Mexico thing. She's lost 2 in a row.
Great point.
You cannot go down 3 losses. Now, all of a sudden, your job's on the line. And, sorry, Lupi, you lost to Verna to be expected. Okay, Mackenzie Dern, you can't lose to Polastri. You can't. Because now the UFC's going, well, what's the upside here with Lupi? Like, people loved her when she came in, but she's losing to Angela Hill. And who's she beating? Carlosi, Calvillo. Like, what can she only beat? Like the bums. Now this Tabitha Ricci win is really something, but I think there's going to be a very concerted effort that in the Lupi camp is like, no screwing around.
Get the win,
please. So this fight I would actually be a little worried about taking the fight to go the distance. It's minus 600.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
If Lupi's like pedal to the metal, I think she's so much better than Polastri in the wrestling and the ground game that a finish by submission would not surprise me at all. I think Polastri is very, very limited. And I always worry about betting on Lupita because she makes fights way closer than they have to be. I don't think there's any time to waste for Lupita. She's got to get up back on the winning track to keep getting decent fights. We mentioned that there is a 3-month special here, guys. It's over at Wager Talk. Trying to figure out what specials to run for you guys because we want to make sure we give you guys the best specials. I'm allowed to make my own specials. Here's what we came up with. Me and Corbin did a deep dive. And this is probably the stat I'm most proud of. No, it's not that we're number one like last 355 days, last 2 years. In the last 17 months, we have turned a profit in 14 of those months. Jim, that's kind of unheard of in the betting industry.
Really hard to do.
That's like almost impossible to do. Yeah. You might win a few months, but to win 14 out of 17 months is pretty impressive. And guess what? Profitable in January, February, and March. We're going to end March profitable. So we're going to run a 3-month special. We're going to take 30% off of it so you can get 3 months. Let's say we have one losing month. You're probably getting two winning months. Maybe we extend this bad boy out to 6 straight winning months in a row. But it's a streak that we're very, very proud of. And boy, our bankrolls have shown it. We're up 65 units in 2025. We're up 127 units last year, 93 units in 2023. So we're calling it special warm weather, hotter bankrolls. God, I love that the weather's warming up. But you know what I love even more is the size of my bankroll. So this gets all of our plays. We do have a 5% that is up this weekend. Yeah, I don't care that we got reverse swept last week. It has no effect on the card this weekend. We just love some of these plays from this weekend. So take advantage of that. It's only $5.97. You get 3 months at a 30% discount. Just to add it up, a 30-day pass is normally $2.99. So if you look at it, you're basically getting a month for absolutely free added on to that. So these are the bets that we bet with our own money. These are the bets that we've built clients' bankrolls with for years. These are the plays that we bet, and we've built our own bankrolls. There is no reason to be sitting on the sidelines, not cashing in on all these bets. And you're not getting just one. You're getting 5 handicappers as part of the Winning in the Shadows team. So we're very, very proud of the crew that we put together. There's a reason why we're able to turn a profit in as many sports as we are. So take advantage of that, wagertalk.com. Do not miss out on these profits. It's too important. Your bankroll is a business. You should be investing in it. Take advantage of that. All right, let's go. Milky Costa, Christian Rodriguez. Low-key, one of the most polarizing betting fights on the card.
I think it is the most polarized. I don't think it's even close, man.
Okay, all right. So from a betting perspective, Milky and Christian Rodriguez, how do you have this fight?
See a lot of C-Rod love out there.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I think this man has been put in some really nice situations to get some wins in his career.
Okay,
kind of perfect storms, right? The Bulgarian thing. I look, I still don't think he won that fight, and I bet on him. I bet him live at plus 400. Like, yes, I did bet him, but I didn't think he won that fight. It was a shot in the dark. All right. Sub by Julian Erosa shows a bad, you could say bad IQ. I don't want to harp on him too bad because Erosa can't pull a finish out of nowhere, but that's a guy that if you want to be taken seriously, you got to beat, man. You got to beat Julian Erosa.
I'll go as far to say it was a bad looking loss. I'm not that big of an Erosa fan. Like, so he guillotines Ricardo Ramos, who literally put his neck in the guillotine. But I mean, this is Julian Erosa, who lost to Fernando Padilla and Alex Casero. I'm going to say that loss just isn't aging well in the slightest.
Cameron Saimon, bit of a busted prospect, right?
Yep.
Shouldn't have beat Bulgarian.
Sadly.
Austin Bashi, young rookie, turns out to be very one-dimensional. Didn't really have much for it. Undersized. And here's the kicker. Rodriguez is undersized himself. There's a reason why he's at this weight class. Because dude can't make a weight class down. So Costa's going to look huge in this fight when they face off. I know there's a lot of recency bias because of the guillotine that Costa just got, on Fili. However, I thought he looked calm, composed. I didn't think that Fili, I've heard people say that they thought Fili was winning until the choke, and
It
I
was
don't know.
round
I didn't
one. I
see
don't want
it.
to.
It
I don't
was
want to
like
hear
stop,
someone was
right?
winning in round one. Give me a
Everybody
break.
can win round one. It's winning round 2 and 3 that's the problem. Now, what Costa when fights get extended, you don't really know. But having the size advantage, he's fresh. He took no damage in the Feely fight. Not worried about him cutting weight a second time. I like Costa in this fight, man. I'm going to buy into the recency hype. I'm just not a Christian Rodriguez guy. I think that everybody wants to play the round 3 on him, finish. Round 2, he's the comeback kid. I think there's been a lot of luck that's gone his way and some favorable situations. And against Costa, I just don't see it. I think he's going to be way too big and way too strong in the grappling. And Rodriguez isn't going to be able to get his game going in 2 and 3.
Man, I wish I knew what Costa's cardio was going to look like.
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It's the one thing that really has me worried because Christian Rodriguez ain't getting tired.
Yeah.
That is one thing that is just not going to happen, and I fear that this could be Costa looked great in round 1, close round 2, and now C-Rod is in his element in round 3. That's what terrifies me. I like Milky. I've loved him since he came in and took a fight. It took Thiago Moises in his UFC debut. Kind of knew he was walking into a complete ass kicking. But he did the damn thing. They give him Austin Lingo. I don't know why they gave him Steve Garcia. That was kind of unfair. So he gets the mark there. But, credit to him. He gets a couple finishes from there. I'm with you that I like Costa. I'm not betting this one. I'm staying away. My heart is with Costa, but at altitude, I'm making it a rule that if I have cardio concerns, I'm just not going to bet on them because I don't want a guy who's dying in round 3. There's tired, and then there's tired at altitude, and they're just very, very different. I don't know, like if you've ever been skiing, what's the air like at the top of the mountain compared to that? Like, it's quite different. So I will have nothing in this fight. So let's just move on to the next one. I'll be rooting for Melky because I really like his style. I think he's exciting. I think he goes out there with the intention to put on a good fight, and the UFC needs guys like him. There's something polarizing just kind of about the way he looks, like the hair, the skin. I don't know. He just looks and is different, and I think it's great for the sport. I'll be rooting for him, but no money to be made. Now let's get into a polarizing one. Ateba Gardia against Jose Medina, the funky Jose Cole Medina. How do you?
I didn't think we were going to get a Tone Loc reference.
I got you.
On the.
Listen, I hosted Wager Talk today with Tokyo Brandon, and I got a 1928 Yankees reference. So
nice.
anything's possible in the day.
Okay.
All right, Gardia, Medina. How do you see this one going down?
Speaking of cardio concerns, let's start with that. Do we have any clue what Gaudier is going to look like in round 2 if it gets there?
I'll just listen. Spoiler alert. I think he's dead to the world if it gets
I think
there.
he's going to be smoked.
I think he's 100%. I am with you 100%. And I will just tell you that Jose Medina is truly god awful. He has no redeeming qualities as a fighter besides he's tough. And what do we always say? Tough is not a compliment. He literally got a contract because Dana White enjoyed watching him get his ass kicked by a horrific Russian that they cut.
Yeah.
So I think he's terrible, and I think he wins.
I agree. If this fight starts round 2, Gaudier bettors are terrified. I think in round 2, he looks like Brad Keselowski with 2 laps to go when he should have pitted 20 laps ago. Just no gas.
Nursing the car on the inside of the track. Yeah.
Just doing this in the driver's seat trying to keep it going. I can't see how a man with that build and that muscle at elevation, the way that he fights, being able to get through 3 rounds. Now, if he gets round 1 and 2, maybe it's enough and he survives because Medina is god awful. Maybe he doesn't have the ability to finish. But I'm not betting it, man. I'm not betting these Contender Series guys, like you said, with bad cardio at elevation. I'm scared. So I don't think it's worth it. It's another polarizing fight. If this fight goes to round 2, you need to take a hard look at Medina live because, oh my God, if there's an early takedown in round 2 and Medina ends up on top, it's over. It's over.
Listen, like, what's the one fight he lost? It went to decision against the guy. It was 0-0.
Yeah.
This guy absolutely sucked.
Oh, he was
fought on Contender Series. Where did they dig this guy up from?
They built him up so big, didn't they, too? They built him up in the promo.
Jose Medina kills that guy. I'm sorry. Jose Medina beats that guy. So then who are you left? Okay, he's knocking guys out in round 1, 17-13. Okay, like whoop-dee. The guy hasn't fought since then. He's beating a guy that's 1-0, 0-1, a guy that's 2-23. I'm sorry. No, this is fade the shady Contender Series guy. Well, I've watched Cody Steele lose. I watched really good prospects come in and lose.
Cody Steele.
Now Jose Medina he's really bad. Zachary's like beat the shit out of him.
He beat 7 shades of shit out of him. He was just too tough to fall down.
Crushed him. And guess what? Jose Medina was like, 6 months later I'll fight again. Not, 6-7 months, sure. We'll get to a guy who's like, no, 5 weeks. Yeah, I'll fight in 5 weeks. It literally comes down to, first off, he is so raw with his talent that I don't think he's got all the skills in the world to smoke Medina. Medina's got a cast iron block like Cal and Loughran. Can you imagine those guys in power slap? Medina and Loughran. So I think Medina gets his ass kicked in the first round. I think it looks like he's going to get finished. And at the end of the first round, those big-ass arms of Gardia are going to be hanging down. And it's like, oh, my God, I still have 10 minutes left to go. I'm going to take it a step further. I have Medina by finish.
Round 2, round 3.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, Medina could get smoked in the first round, but if he doesn't, Gardia is going to be dying out there. Absolutely dying, and I think it's Medina by finish, and I think the crowd is going to go ballistic, and Dana White's going to be sitting there looking at Sean Shelby, the other one's being like, I told you, and they're like, yeah, you put him against Gardia. So, yeah, this is my shock, my big shock upset. This is like when I said Raul Barcelos was going to take care of Peyton Talbot, or at least be competitive. I'm all in on fading these Contender Series guys, man. They're not ready. This guy is not ready to be a UFC.
He's got fighter. 7 pro fights out of Cameroon.
He has one.
It's not like he's out of Las Vegas. He's out of Cameroon.
You're right. Okay. It's not like he was born and bred to be a UFC fighter at the time he was a kid. Yeah. All right. That's going to be the ballsy pick of the month for sure. Edgar Chairez and CJ Vergara. What do you think this fight? How do you see this fight going down?
Cue it again. Speaking of cardio concerns.
Absolutely.
Oh, Edgar Chairez. Man, if he could have cardio, I'd be all over him in this fight. I don't think CJ Vergara is that good. I know he ekes away decisions and everything, but look, Chairez, very, very dangerous fighter. Excellent submission. That's his calling card, are his submissions. But after round 2, he's not the same fighter. Like in every fight that goes to round 2. It's not like it's a one-time thing where you're like, oh, okay, well maybe he was sick. Maybe his dog died last night, whatever. He shows it every time. So if it's not submission round 1, he's going to let CJ Vergara back into this fight because he's just going to be too tired. Now that's the big question, right? CJ Vergara gets hurt every fight. Everybody wants to talk about when he was sprinting around the octagon, which is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It was awesome. So great. Absolutely awesome. But now, also, guess what? UFC changed the rule after that. You cannot run away. They will stop the fight. So that kind of takes that away. Timarov had the perfect game plan for Vergara.
Timarov's game plan is the exact same.
But he was like, I'm not letting you get away from me. The second that CJ tried to move, he was in his face. Chairez doesn't have that gas tank to be able to do that. So if that round ends, and we were kind of thinking the same thing with Timarov when we were watching that fight was, man, if this goes to round 2, this could get shady. So I think this is a live bet opportunity. I can't bet Chairez because of his cardio. I can't bet Vergara because he could very well get subbed. I'm going to wait until round 2. Let's see what we get. If we see a finish get close but not happen, we were talking about this the other week. You almost have to now blind bet a fight when a finish almost happens and then doesn't happen. Whether it's a sub and a guy gets out or a guy gets dropped, Gunnar Nelson, dropped unconscious, round ends. Right then and there, you're betting it to go to distance. Because
it's like there's adrenaline dump or something.
You have one chance to finish a fight most of the time. And if you can't do it, you hit the nail on the head. There's an adrenaline dump. There's an expelling punches. The Mick Parkin fight, he drops to Bora, really good ground and pound, and then there's nothing left after. Of course, it's going the distance with heavyweights. So live bet opportunity for me. If I have to pick a side, I'm picking Chairez to get the sub, but I will gladly take a live bet shot on this fight.
I have nothing more to add. I agree. It's Chairez early, and then I'm just terrified if it gets out of round 2. If it gets to round 3, I watch Chairez die, like really, and not totally at this type of elevation. So it's mostly a stay away. Live bet. That's about it. Ronaldo Rodriguez and Kevin Borjas. Who do you like in this one?
Ronaldo Rodriguez is low key terrifying. Top 5 terrifying dudes you want to see in an alleyway. He's just got something about him that I'm like, God, I feel like I would have to hit this guy with my Buick to beat him in a fight. How are you going to stop him? He's got a brick for a head. He marches forward. Cardio checks out. Ground game is significant. And I just don't think that Borjas is that good. I just don't. He's not going to have any kind of striking to hurt Rodriguez. We've seen Rodriguez be leaking from multiple places on his face and be smiling and loving life. This guy just lives for this stuff. Absolutely lives for this stuff. Those are 2 quality losses, Costa and Van. Quality losses. However, Rodriguez is just going to march forward here. I don't think Borjas has any finishing upside whatsoever. And the only way I think you beat Rodriguez is if you can take him down and control him, which I don't think that Borjas can do, or you finish him. This guy's not getting finished. So I love Rodriguez in this spot. Absolutely love him. Not a fan of Kevin. I think Rodriguez, kind of like the other fight, I would not look past a round 3 finish by Rodriguez. I think he gets this done by sub. I think he wears on Borjas. He gets the rear naked choke locked in round 2, round 3. Just a war of attrition stoppage.
Ronaldo Rodriguez has got that dog in him, Jim. He has that dog. You are not finishing this man. Odie Osborne had 100 chances to finish him, and he couldn't do it. Like literally 100. I counted. Rodriguez got out of submissions. He's got out of getting rocked. Now, offensively, is he that great? No, he can be low volume, but is Borjas going to put him in trouble? I just don't really see it. This guy's 0-2. Those are 2 pretty tough fights for your UFC. But where's his confidence at right now? Barely gets a win against Victor Diaz on Contender Series. What's this guy done since then? He beats Justin Scoggins at Mecca 22, goes to LFA, loses. So who's Borjas beaten? Nobody of that big of a note recently. So I just think Rodriguez is going to out hustle him. I think he's going to outwork him. Ronaldo Rodriguez, dude, he's 17-2. He's 25. He made his pro debut at 17 years old, and he won his first 4 fights as a pro. And look at his 2 losses: split, and then loses to Jerome Rivera, which not a good look, but guy was young. Young. It's 20 years old. So I think he continues to get better. I thought that Odie Osborne win was actually hilarious and really impressive at the same time, just because I don't think many guys get out of the trouble that he was in. And again, am I saying always tough? Because we always say, tough, but man, when Sam Hughes, don't you want to bet your money on somebody that is just never, ever giving up? So, if I'm betting money on this fight, it's Ronaldo Rodriguez, and I think we got some sneaky line manipulation going on in this fight because this guy was minus 170. At time of recording this, he dips down to minus 150. I would bet this guy closes at minus 200. I think people want to bet on Ronaldo Rodriguez. Hometown.
Yeah.
Or not hometown, but home country. A guy like Ronaldo Rodriguez is going to give you 110%. There's no doubt about that.
Did you notice where this fight is slotted to?
First of the main card.
First fight on the main card.
Dude, they're giving us two impressive fighters, and which could be some pretty good performances to start the card. So let's talk David Rodriguez and Simon Oliveira. I think you and I align on this one. Who do you like?
David Martinez. I'm not going to sit here and preach that he is the next champion.
But you did just bring it up.
I did just bring it up.
He brought it up.
He does have one thing that I like, is that he's 11-1, not 11-0.
I like what you did there.
I like the one loss. You guys all know I like my fighters to taste defeat. This is not a bet on Martinez. This is a bet against Oliveira. we don't talk anything about Martinez. Rangy striker he's not the best fighter in the world.
You talk Oliveira, I'll talk Martinez.
Oliveira, okay, should not be here. All right, should not be here.
Well, he hasn't been here for 2 years.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He hasn't been here for 2 years. And I don't think this is like, I really need to take my training seriously and go. I don't know why he hasn't been here for 2 years. I think this is time to get somebody off the roster. Hey, you want to fight in Mexico? We'll make it worth your while. Okay, split decision on Contender Series. Boy, he was going to fight Javid Basharat on Contender. How do you think that was going to go?
We would never hear from him again. If he fought Javid Basharat.
We'd never heard from him. It's crazy. Like, you find those spots, right? You find those spots. Tony Gravely, unanimous decision. I don't rate Tony Gravely very high. Daniel Marcos gets finished. Marcos really not a finisher by any means.
Can I expand on that?
Please do. Please do.
It's his only finish in 7 fights.
A little more depth there. Yeah. So bad look. Okay. I think this is Martinez all day. Again, I don't need to bet on the good fighters against the good fighters. I need to bet on the decent fighter against the bad fighter. And Oliveira is a bad fighter. All Martinez has to do is mind his P's and Q's in the grappling, and he should cruise in this spot. Wouldn't be surprised to get a finish. Oliveira is another guy who I don't think can't go 3. Talk to us about David Martinez, Mr. Lang.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So we take notes on Contender Series, and at the end of each night, we award the BMF, which is the baddest mofo of the night. And David Martinez won that night. Yep. Unanimous in the chat. David Martinez is your BMF. And here's the notes. Great cardio. Okay, I'll take that.
Check.
Great leg kicks. His leg kicks are
check.
Fantastic movement. Sticks to game plan. In and out striking. Could struggle with high pressure fighters or karate style. You ain't got that. Solid takedown defense. Hands a little bit low on the exit. This guy's a complete package. I don't know if he's there yet, but you're going to hear from this guy quite a bit. 26 years old. And I'm sorry, man. Black Spartan is a nickname I can get behind. That's true. Awesome. That's a great one. No, but in all seriousness, this guy finishes people, but he can go the distance. Look.
Round 4.
This was our write-up of why we liked him so much. 2 finishes in round 4. One guy was 23-9. One guy's 5-1, and he's lighting dudes up in the championship rounds. This was part of our write-up why we loved him on Contender Series, and he delivered the goods. It's David Martinez, and I love David Martinez to get the win here. All right. Raul Rosas and Vince Morales. Where do you stand on this fight?
I've been waiting for this one. I'm glad I get to go first on this one. Okay. Click on my boy Vince there. I'll tell you this. Before we're even going to bet this fight, we got to see what quality hairstyle Vince comes with, because his last outing was a very poorly done dye job.
It's pretty bad.
As you know, if you watch our live stream, we have our haircut theory, and that was a huge haircut theory. And dude got pieced up by Elijah Smith. Busted up. That was in February.
It's 5 weeks ago.
Now he's taking a fight in Mexico after, I mean, his nose was jacked after round 1. I cannot see how that thing could be 100% going into this fight. Now, the good thing for Vince is Rosas not exactly known as a striker, more of a grappler.
You think?
However, the dude got taken down and controlled by Smith. That's actually how Smith won that fight, was when things got hairy, he went to the wrestling, and it came super easy. Morales got peppered with leg kicks, peppered with jabs, was beat to hell after round 1, and he just could not keep up for 3 rounds. Raul Rosas is going to put this dude's grappling to the test, and I would not be shocked to see that he hurts Morales on the feet with something. I hope he doesn't get too confident. This Vince Morales, not UFC quality, comes back to UFC. This is what they do for him. They throw killers at him while he goes through. But I hope Rosas doesn't get too confident. I don't want a Jamall Pogue situation. I think that he has the right people around him. Listen to his interview today. I really liked the maturity. There was a while there where we were not all in on the maturity of Rosas.
Terrified.
And boy, did he recorrect us. Really liked his post-fight against Tercios. Like where he's headed, man. I think he rolls on this spot. I will gladly fade Vince one more time before he gets cut from the UFC.
There is a name of a fighter that terrifies me as to betting on Raul Rosas, and that name is Rinya Nakamura. When are we going to get the Raul Rosas decides to try and be a striker for all 3 rounds and loses? Because I got to tell you, he almost did it to us in his last fight against Arichi Lang.
Yep.
Like, he tried to stand and bang with Arichi Lang, and he won because eventually he got the takedowns and such. I'm terrified it's coming, but here's the thing about Rosas. He's 20 years old, and the UFC is doing him some pretty big solids, which is giving him some cupcakes and fights that he can absolutely win. I think they get that he needs to mature, and I mean, he's not even in his man body yet. He's got a ways to go. I just don't know what game plan he's going to be. I hope it's takedowns, because if he does, this fight is over before it even started. But if he's like, let me show off my chops, show off some wrestling, some striking here to excite the crowd, it terrifies me. But am I going to just be like terrified to bet on Raul Rosas every single fight until he absolutely burns us? No, it's Rosas, because Morales is terrible. That's the handicap. Morales is terrible. Rosas, and honestly, if Rosas gets him down once, he may get the back. He may jump on the back. I thought Morales has looked very, very slow and just not that athletic in his return. His return has not been that good. It's Rosas. It's chalky. But, man, we're just it's going to be terrified if the first round is just all him and Rosas gets done and loses round 1 by landing 2 significant strikes and with 0 takedown attempts. I'm telling you, it's coming. And, by the way, can I just say this? If you are a Carl Williams, a Rinya Nakamura, okay, and you have been told that you need to strike because it's more exciting, I will tell you that really good wrestling and takedowns is way better than bad striking. You know what's not exciting to watch is Rinya Nakamura try and strike. That's not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up to watch Carl Williams try and strike. I could go watch my next door neighbor do that because it's going to be about the same. That's not exciting. Just saying we'll throw bad punches. That's exciting. No, it's not. You remember Dana White being like, "Be Joe Pyfer, be Joe Pyfer." You know what I'm saying? Be Grant Dawson. Be Grant Dawson. Stick to your roots. Be the best wrestler, takedown artist. Say something funny on the mic.
Get a submission
afterwards, and people will love you. Get ground and pound. Get a submission. But I taking an elite wrestler and saying, well, they struck for 3 rounds. It's like, yeah, it was embarrassing to watch. They weren't even close. So I don't know. It's just some of the worst advice ever. It's just like
it also comes down to the coaching. Like you could have
Grant
that.
Dawson has the coaches behind him that they can have those conversations.
If Grant comes in and says, "Hey, listen, they want me to be a striker," like Grant, are you out of your freaking mind? No, you're going to take this guy down.
And his coaches wouldn't say that.
Exactly.
But somehow in these camps, they're actually
you gotta
having
have
these
good
conversations.
Coaches. You got to have good coaches, man. You got this. We call this. I'm going to call this the SBG Ireland plague, where we can just take great fighters and turn them into horrible fighters.
It's a miracle. How did you turn Rinya Nakamura into a losing fighter against Furov? All right, I've digressed. To Carl Williams.
It's a warranted rant. It's going to take us the rest of the year to get that one out of our system.
Well, losing bets is one thing. We don't. Look,
we'll
have 1,000 bets, but watching it was embarrassing. That was embarrassing to watch Carl Williams and Rinya Nakamura think, "Oh, I'm going to be more exciting by striking." Oh, that was exciting. You lost. How exciting was that? Have fun on
Enjoy
the
going home with half your check.
Yeah, have fun at the LFA prelims. Those are awesome, exciting. I'll see you on Fight Pass, loser. All right, let's see your striking on the LFA prelims. All right, Kelvin Gastelum and Joe Pyfer. I did not plan that. But someone needs to
right on point. Right on point.
Get in the ear of these guys. Kelvin Gastelum and Joe Pyfer. They should put odds on whether Gastelum makes world weight. Is that a bet? Can we get that bet?
Wait a minute. Wasn't that given? DraftKings gave that a while in New Jersey.
Did they really?
I'm not kidding you. Like a week. It was like 2 make weight.
That's fantastic.
It's gone now because they probably got murdered by it.
Yeah.
Just blindly bet yes. Parlay it all together. But
You're
yes,
right.
Calvin,
they did throw those
they
out.
Did. Yeah,
it was
did.
Who was there was a woman that always
Priscilla Cachueta.
That's who
it was. It was a Priscilla Cachueta fight card. Then she was the big bet. Yep. There's that and the point taken. Will a point be taken? That's another good one.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't know if Kelvin's going to show up injured. We don't know if Kelvin's going to show up and actually care. We don't know if Kelvin's collecting a paycheck. We don't know if Kelvin's eating Twinkies. We don't know if he's on a treadmill. We know nothing. Nothing. He's also coming off a finish loss, which is not usual for Kelvin Gastelum. Can we do something about Kelvin's?
Remember, he beat Daniel Rodriguez.
Oh, that's not a win. Daniel Rodriguez showed up there for a paycheck. Come on, he got worked,
and then he got an extension.
Last time he fought anybody decent, Sean Brady gets submitted. Come on.
Truth.
Can we do something with Kelvin's profile picture on Tapology? By the way, is that even him?
It really doesn't even look like him.
That's an old picture.
If you gave me, if you were just be like, hey, who is this?
That?
I would be like, honestly, I would say Bruno Ferreira.
Yeah, there you go.
More than Kelvin Gastelum. Interesting.
Again, though, with this fight, it's like they took all the guys at Bad Cardio and put them on a Mexico City card at Elevation. What the hell are we going to get from Joe Pyfer in round 2 and round 3? I don't know. I mean, I would lean towards this cardio is not great. Is it going to be better? I sure hope so than the Hermanson fight, but we haven't had a chance to see it yet. So you can't really bet on a fighter as a favorite to beat Kelvin Gastelum, who rarely gets finished. He's been finished, twice? I think in his whole career. I think it's a live bet, man. If Pyfer doesn't get the finish in round 1, I think you bet Gastelum. But before you do anything with this fight, you need to see what you're getting on the scales and in the interviews and in the lead up. Kelvin's one of those fighters that on a Friday at 10 o'clock, some news will break that he's, hasn't trained in 3 weeks because he had a broken foot. There's always drama with this guy leading into the fight. So I have to wait. Not giving an opinion on this stage. Fight. Yeah,
sorry.
He'll be the internet doctors. They'll be like, Kelvin has staff. He'll be the one this week. He'll be the one with staff.
He missed weight by 7 pounds because he has staff and a broken foot.
I'll call Pyfer and ask for a catch weight of 192 or something the night before. Give me a break.
Really, Kelvin? What do you weigh right now? 192.5. As someone that correctly predicted Jack Hermanson to beat Joe Pyfer, which Nathan was completely and utterly against. What do we get from Pyfer? Knocks out Barrio. He landed it was side of the head, temple, and then he flatlines him. Abdul Razak Alsan, someone was going to lose in that one by finish. Gerald Mearshart doesn't have, a whole lot. Alan Makovsky, Ozzy Diaz. It's a who's who of people that are not very good. And what happens once he fights a veteran? He gets veteraned. He looks great in round one, and then he's got nothing. And you're telling me at altitude, I get Kelvin Gastelum? I like Gastelum in this one. I think now you're not betting it pre-fight because you got to watch the weigh-ins and all that stuff. But also, he's going to win just by rounds 2 and 3. He's not going to win round 1. I don't think. Not unless
I wouldn't predict him to. No.
So you're waiting, and you got that finger ready to go on submit on Kelvin Gastelum. If Joe Pyfer looks good, and then within the last 30 seconds, if Pyfer looks tired, you are firing on Gastelum. Pyfer is he's a front runner. He will knock out the guys that he should. I don't know how many levels he has to his game. The Hermanson fight was 5 rounds. I don't think that was at altitude. And Gastelum, I don't know, man. He can put some good forward pressure on you, and I just think he's a tough guy to finish. If Pyfer doesn't finish him, then look out. But I think this is going to be one of those where Pyfer looks amazing in the first round, and everyone's like, yay, we got this. And then 2 minutes into the second round, you're like, he doesn't have that sting on his punch anymore, and he's getting walked down, and he's on his back foot, and Gastelum is just kind of working him over. So it's Pyfer early or Gastelum by decision, maybe even late. But this is an absolute live bet. I'm not betting this before the fight. I will wait till the end of round 1 and hope to get a great number on Gastelum. I mentioned the violence parlay. Listen, if you want a parlay piece of a fight to not go the distance, let me introduce you to Manuel Torres and Drew Dober. 2 guys that are just going to stand there and they're going to swing really hard. They're both going to get hit because their striking defense is optional. And so who goes to sleep first? Because I don't see this thing going very long. What do you think?
Remember my comparison to Manuel Torres when he first burst on the scene? You remember which fighter I compared him to?
Was it Dober?
I said he could be our next 2.
Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright. Okay.
Jordan Wright's early career before they tried to make him a wrestler, where you just take the freaking under.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about it. The Bahamunda's loss was alarming because he was tired in round 1. Major. He
also was getting hit
issues.
Square on the chin.
I mean, yeah, he got hit, but you saw him exchange with other fighters in the past and not have it zap him as much as they did. That was UFC Noche. Maybe the moment was too big. Maybe he wasn't 100% and just wanted to make sure that he got on that card because that was a big deal for the Mexican community, right?
Yep.
I was all set to bet Torres, and the cardio look in the last fight just worries me. I think this is an under. Dober's getting up there in age, and that chin's been cracked. Here's the wild card. If Torres decides to grapple, I think he runs through Drew Dober on the ground.
Wow, you think he's got the cardio for that?
It's got to be early.
Yeah.
I think it's a submission early.
Okay.
If he decides to grapple, he's got long arms. And what is Drew Dober's weakness? It's grappling and submission defense. We've seen it time and time and time and time again. When he fights anybody who's got a good choke sequence, he gets caught in chokes. I'm not picking a side. I think the violence parlay is great. I can't get there with Torres, especially at favorite money. But this also could be a live bet. If you see Torres teeing off on Dober and Dober doesn't go away, you are watching that Manuel Torres cardio. Because Dober in rounds 2 and 3, he's not going to get gassed. He might get taken down, but he's not going to get gassed. Torres's cardio terrifies me in this spot. Co-main event, a lot of pressure at elevation. That's where I'm at.
It's under. You've got a guy in Manuel Torres that does not block punches. Now, I think they're going to look at the Baja Mondays film and just be like, dude, you got to block your chin. And I think those are correctable mistakes. And they will absolutely work on that. So I think they're going to fix that. Because, listen, early finish against Duncan, early finish against Mata, early finish against Camacho, early finish. He just hasn't really been pushed that far to know you got to have some of these things like, striking defense, kind of. But you're right. He's going to get tired. And if he gets tired, he's going to get finished because there's no way at elevation he's going to go. Drew Dober, I can't bet on him. His only win in the last 4 fights is against a part-time plumber and a part-time fighter in Ricky Glenn. Other than that, he's been finished by Frivola, by Gene Silva, and Moicano got him. So I don't care who wins. I think this is a violence parlay piece.
Agreed.
Main event, Brandon Moreno, Steve Erceg. What a weird career in the UFC Mr. Steve Erceg has had. But how do you think he fares against Brandon Moreno?
Remember when Dominic Reyes fought John Jones?
Okay.
Right. And it was like, he won. Oh, no matter
Yeah.
what, he's going to get Jones again. And what happened to Dom's career? Fell off a cliff.
It really did.
Right? He's working his way back up now, but he fell off a cliff. Steve Erceg taking Pantoja to a decision where he only needed 1 round. I root for Steve. I think he's a good fighter. I like watching him fight. I think that's the high point of Steve Erceg's career. I think it's only downhill from here. I just don't know if we're all being duped by the skill set of Erceg. And you could say, well, he almost beat the chip. Well, but he didn't. He didn't make the right choice, and he gave it away. And I've told you this before. I've said it before. It's so damn hard to get back, man. It's so hard to get back to a title shot. It's so hard to get back to a title once you've won it and lost it. But Moreno's done it. He's done it a good amount. His boxing looks so damn good in his last fight. And I was expecting to see a fall off from Moreno. And my God, he put Albazi through a meat grinder. It was one-way traffic. What was the final scorecard of that fight?
It was a lot too. I mean, Moreno looked like he hadn't even been in a fight.
Right.
And
I think it was a couple 50-45s in there. I mean, it was just a beating. I think that time off was really good for Moreno. Really, really good for Moreno. I got to go with Brandon Moreno here. I think it's a bettable number. Again, main event, Mexico City against Erceg. I think Erceg's tough enough to last. Wouldn't be interested in the time props, but I'm interested in the Moreno money line for sure.
All right. Love it. I agree. I think it's Moreno. I like this fight to go the distance. I don't know who's finishing who in this one. Moreno didn't finish Albazi. He just pieced him up from distance. Erceg has been in there with the champ and with the distance. So I like this fight to go the distance. I'm with you. I love the way Moreno looked against Albazi. He just stayed out of harm's way. If it gets to the ground, Erceg's athletic. He's taller. If Moreno gets him down, I think Erceg gets back up. But on the feet, I think it's just a jab and point fest for Moreno. So I'm with you on Moreno. Not a super strong call because of the odds, but I think Brandon Moreno is the rightful play. But over is how I would play that one. All right, let's do the Parlay Buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. So the Parlay Buster is a play that we think everybody's going to put in their parlays, and we're worried about it. And then the woulda, coulda, shoulda is what are we regretting at the end of the night that we should have just laid the house on. So I'll do my Parlay Buster first, and it's Ateba Gautier. I think rightfully people are going to think Jose Medina is terrible. He is. Just this Contender Series debutante at high altitude with a lot of muscle and questionable cardio with only 7 fights against a guy that he's either got to finish early or he's in trouble. I think he blasts everybody's parlays with this one. So I can't believe I'm betting money on Jose Medina. I haven't bet it yet, but I will tell you I'm not betting Gautier, and I would advise you all to do the same. That's my Parlay Buster. Who you got?
I like it. I'm going to go another guy who's questionable. I'm going to go Edgar Chairez. It's minus 258. That's in parlay territory, and after round 1, I think he's going to be in deep, deep trouble with cardio.
I like that pick a lot. Chairez's Chairez's last fight against Van, against Noche, he was putting it on Van, and then all of a sudden he's there losing.
He hit a wall.
Yeah, absolutely hit a wall.
Hit a wall.
I'll let you go first with woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Would, could, should. All right, this is pretty simple for me, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Is Kelvin Gastelum against Joe Pyfer?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm a guy that's always bought into knockout power, and we got to learn our lessons. I'm not buying into the knockout power anymore. It's all about cardio, dude. I don't know if Joe can go 3 at this elevation. And like you said, I think he's looking great in round 1. I think he's going to be a super popular pick. Minus 298. Everybody wants to fade Gastelum. He's going to be in every parlay. And then round 1's going to end, and Kelvin's going to eke out 2 more rounds on the scorecards with a cage grappling attack. And you can get him for plus 240 right now.
Love it. I love it. Imagine the disappointment when David Martinez is standing above an unconscious Simon Oliveira at UFC Mexico with the hometown Mexican guy with a boatload of finishes on his record against a guy who simply had to wait 2 years after getting knocked out by Daniel Marcos, who does not knock out people. I think we're going to sit there being like, Martinez by finish. Yeah. was the obvious pick. So I'll go David Martinez by finish as the woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Again, take advantage of the 3-month special. Like, I put work into researching our plays and trying to put together specials for you guys. And Wager Talk is gracious enough to let me do that. So when I put together these plays, they're put together for a reason. This particular special, the 3-month special, is because we did the research. We realized we turned a profit in 14 out of last 17 months. So we want to give you guys 3 months of our plays because we think we're going to be profitable at 2, maybe even a shot at 3 straight profitable months. This is all the plays on our portfolio that we bet with our own money. So it's 30% off. Take advantage of that. WT.buzz/AL. Your bankroll is a business. So is ours. You can join with us and build these bankrolls. 82 weeks ago, we started with $10,000, and now we're up to $43,000. That is all documented in our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, I will put the link in the comment section. Encourage everyone to join that. We've got tons of free tips, tons of free tools. We've got a downloadable spreadsheet for you all to track your own plays. A lot of great handicappers in there, like-minded people that treat their bankroll like a business. So encourage everyone to join and take advantage of that 3-month special. All right, that's going to do it for us. I will be live on Takedown Live. Jim, little iffy. You got a tournament, though.
I do. We have a tournament on Saturday. So
if Jim doesn't make it, it's not like, I'm at the mall.
Yeah. Nope. I'm hoping it's going to be over some point in the afternoon, but we have a lot going on here, too. So hopefully I get to see everybody's beautiful faces Saturday night at some point. But, I'll be watching fights during the day and watching fights at night.
Yeah, if there's a reason to miss an MMA card, it's because you're running your own MMA business. Like that, it's allowed. It's okay. All right. Thanks very much. Hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see everyone later.
Good luck this weekend.